I want to share this too. So one of the deals I closed about 90 days ago, a guy called me up and he was like, "Yeah, someone told me you're the loan doctor." I'm like, "Okay, I'll come and give you a diagnosis." And he started cracking up. He goes, "I'm not sure how much you're going to do for me because I'm a 578 credit score." I'm like, "Okay." And I won't mention the company names, but he went to 2 local banks in Ohio and went to another broker lender out there as well. I said, "Okay, so let me ask you this question. So you're a 578 score? Yeah, they told you that much, correct?" I said, "Okay. Did anyone go over your credit report?" "No." I said, "So nobody took the time to review your credit report with you so you can go over and understand why you're a 578 credit score?" "No." He had a medical collection for $600. He had a charged-off credit card for like $600 or $700. He had a credit card that was a newer one that was maxed out and had $900 and $1,000. Paid the medical collection off, jumped to a 640 score. After the 640 score, got him a consolidation loan with One Main for $2,000. Paid off that collection, paid off his credit card. In 3 weeks, what do you think his credit score was? Take a guess.
If you up to just under 7.
718. I closed him on a $350,000 house. I did all that in a matter of 9 weeks. Because, again, loan officers, and I say this to you as we're out there, the value of your customer is not determined on the credit score. Listen to their story. Be genuine. Be real. And understand as a commissioned individual, we are blessed by the people that are put in our lives. My faith aspect is God blesses us with everything. After my son passed away, a little over a year ago, my whole thing was, one of the things I always told him was confidence. I struggle with confidence. I mean, I do. It's the little things here. I said, but I keep.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you.
So this is being done as something I've been thinking about for a long time in terms of being able to identify people that are doing things to see if we can help them go to another level. I've been privileged to be able to work with business owners, athletes, professionals to help give some insights to help them grow and build and all these other great things. And I want you to meet someone today, and we're just going to have this conversation happen. Mr. Eric Rank, what's up, my man? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, buddy. So, everyone, I've known Eric for quite some time, and this is a good man, and I don't just mean like a good business person. I mean like a good human being. And we were having the conversation. I said to him, like, look, you just need to just get on camera, and people need to know who you are. So, Eric, could you share what it is you do? Because we're going to talk about going to the next level, and they need to know who you are, what you do. So, go ahead, buddy.
Eric Rank. My name's Eric Rank. I'm a mortgage loan officer. I work for Leader One Financial Corp. I've been a mortgage loan officer serving my clients for about 22 years. Licensed in about 8 or 9 states directly, and with my company, I can do loans in 48 different states. So, love what I do. It's been a fun run. If you would ask me if I was going to get in the mortgage business when I graduated high school or college or anything like that, I'd be like, no. And 22 years later, it's been great. It's been a great job for me and my family.
So I want to think about this for a second. You have a lot of people right now that are trying to figure out this home conversation because
Yeah.
it's crazy, right? So I'm going to start there, then I'm going to kind of go into what I want to talk about.
Sure.
I have the gap right now between people and home affordability has been all over the news because it's been complicated. How can you help me get into a house, right? I'm a new college graduate. I'm new into my career. Are there like programs or things like that that you have access to for a person like me who's kind of just getting started to be able to get what I need done?
Yeah, there are a lot of grant programs out there. There are a lot of great products that we have. One of the things I love working at Leader One Financial is we're a direct lender, but not only that, but we also broker. For instance, one of the lenders I use is Rocket. They have a Home Plus program or One Plus program where they give you 2% of your 3% down. And one of the greatest benefits about that product is that the gift they give you is forgiven right after closing. You can be a 660, 680 score, go conventional and make that loan work. There are also grants that are available in different states, with Leader One. And if there are certain states that we have a client that had questions on, I can research with my company to find out we have grants that are there. But one of the biggest things, James, I try to do with people when I set the stage for them is really, hey, let's pull your credit. Let's look at where you're at and set a plan. For me, it's never been about the quick. Okay, let's get this done now. It's always about serving my client. It's seeing their situation, understanding their need. It's not about your credit score. Oh, your credit score by so many people, they feel like that's the value of who they are. That's their worth. I'm a 550 score. I'm terrible. No, you're not. You just didn't understand the credit you had at that time. So I try to set the stage with them where I'm like, let's evaluate that. Let's not rush. If you need to, yeah, I can do that for you. But for me in serving my clients is let's evaluate your credit. Let's see how we can maximize your credit. Let's see how we can get it to the highest credit score possible, because that's going to lower potentially your down payment, your actual cost, the cost of the rate, and everything. So I really try to set the stage with them that way. And then, hey, I tell them, understand something. For me, it's to educate and advocate and serve. So I work for you. So when I'm working for you, you need to tell me what's best for you. It's not about me saying, oh, this is the max you can go buy. Let's get that house. It's what are your set parameters? What makes you feel comfortable? And then I'm going to serve you at everything I can to make this process the best I can for you. So that's kind of how I've done it for 22 years. Just really trying to look out for them.
This is important. And the reason why I say it's important, because you moved to Arizona. I remember when you moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Out of Ohio. Yet a lot of your business still comes from Ohio.
Correct.
I want to know something, and this is really important for anyone that is looking to be great, because the market has been challenging for a lot of people, but you've been crushing it. You've been tearing it up. Why are you different? Because there's a whole lot. I can Google a whole lot of loan officers. And I talk to some people in the industry. I work with a lot of people in real estate, and a lot of them it's a tough time right now. Why are you crushing it and other people are struggling?
I don't know what the secret sauce is totally, James, but for me, honestly, it's never been about the transaction. It's always been relational. It's a relationship. And I tell my clients that from the get-go, hey, this is a relationship. Like I have a client I was speaking to yesterday who has been waiting for 2 weeks for someone to get back to him. And I said, well, tell me your situation. And I sat down, I pulled their credit, I looked at their income and everything, and within 45 minutes, they were good to go. And I said, and then I said, this is going to be where we're start. Now, when we're done, we're going to continue to work on your credit, because we're going to go FHA right now. But with 4 different things we're taking off your credit report, you'll be a 740 score. The guy's a 630. But he has to, in his situation, get closed in 25 days, right? So I said, okay, this is where we're going to go. But for me, it's always been a relationship. It's about looking into what their needs and their goals are and serving them. If that means that I don't keep it in-house and I go to a broker where I make 30% less, again, it doesn't matter. It's about serving them, right? It's about serving them like family. I tell people, look, you're blessing my family with an opportunity to make income. So in turn, I'm going to bless you with everything I know in this industry to get you the best product and the best rate and give you the best service that I can. Is every deal perfect? Honestly, no, not every deal is perfect. There are deals that are harder. There are deals that we go into underwriting and it'll come out, we need a few more things. So there are some that take a little longer that are a work in progress. But for the most, it's always been about relationships for me. I want to know about your family. I want to know about, what your goals are, what your long-term goals. Is it a short-term house, long-term house? Because, for me, again, it's about serving them. So I can be a numbers guy. I can sit there and say, your credit score, here's what you got. You're a 640 score, go FHA, or a 620, and we're going to fix your credit, or call me when your credit's fixed. But it's never been that way. Your credit score does not determine your worth, and I'm here to serve you and your family and help you. And that's kind of the simple side of how I've done it for 22 years.
The reason I wanted people to hear you say that, by the way, he has no idea what I'm asking him. We didn't have this conversation beforehand.
No, he said, hey, I'm sending you a link. Here we are. It's a link.
It's like, I had no idea what to expect. But I'm telling you, everyone, I've told people forever that if you're someone that is value driven, meaning you want to give people value, that there's no shortages for people who want to give people value. This man I know has been, if you go to his social media, if you go to Facebook and you look up Eric Rank, that's CK at the end, you're going to see stuff about family. You're going to see there's there's no I'm killing it, I'm crushing. It's all about his love of God, his family, look at my wife, look at my kids. If you look behind him right now, there's a picture. Always be honest. Keep your promises. You know what I mean? Like he's in an industry where there's so much money, and yet as long as I've known Eric, he's never talked about the money. He's always talked about, yeah, let's help this person fix this situation, that situation. And for those of you that are in business, you have to understand, like, if you want to be long term and have something long term, it has to be about the person sitting across from you. The nature of your business is always going to be you're going to be paid for what you deliver. But people know right away if you're a pig, and they know right away if it's not about them. And that's why he's been crushing it. And we've been talking about like wanting to take things to the next level for the upcoming year. But the level you're at is a level a lot of other people would love to get to. Like, they would love to have the amount of closings you're having and the way you're ending out 2024. What does the next level look for? What does it look like for Eric Ray?
The next level is just, more structure and organization to put things in place to get to that next level. I like to hire a couple of gentlemen, that want to kind of see what the team and I have done. What's funny, James, I don't look at myself as a big hitter in this business. There are guys that do things bigger than myself, to be completely honest. They do. And, they have things in place and maybe they're not as personal and in touch with their clients. That's been one of the harder things for me is a lot of guys like to be hands off. Hey, once they take the app, they're done. Their team gets it and down the road, and then they talk to the client at closing. I don't want to be that guy. I want to guide you with my team the whole way through and be with you the whole way through. So, I like to hire a couple of junior loan officers. I like to hire, someone here in Arizona, maybe even in a different state. For me, it doesn't matter what state somebody wants to be in. If they're doing 2 and 3 loans and they need to know how I look at credit, how I rescore the credit, what I do differently. And, if I can help serve them to help benefit their clients and their family, I'd love to do that. Leader One, the company we work for, Leader One Financial, they're based out of Illinois. And like I said, we're licensed in 48 states, and we're always looking. So I'd like to get to that level. Eventually, I think my kids, because they see how much, I do work, not in a bad way. I'd love to get a couple of my boys into the business with me. I really would. My youngest son, Jonathan, is 18 now, but the baby James is 18. Yeah. 18, 20, 21, 24, would have been 25 and 31 now. Just to give you an idea of how long you've known me, James. So, yeah. 05 was before Jonathan was born. But anyway, we won't count numbers. But at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I kind of want to grow that and just get guys into it. I think so many loan officers, they want that 250, 275, 350 basis points, and all the different margins they have in the back end to make more on every deal. And for me, it's never been that way. If if I got to cut my comp to make the deal work for somebody, again, in serving them, that's what I do. I can count, honestly, over the past 18 months, I can count on both my hands, 10 fingers, the number of people that I put over 7.5% as an interest rate. Because for me, when I sit there and look at them, like, if I put them at 8.25%, they wouldn't be able to afford the house. They wouldn't be in their house that they wanted. But 7.5% worked. Well, how did I do that? I just made less. So yeah, I closed more loans this year, but the income I make this year was less than last year. But I helped more clients. So regardless of the fact that I made less, I served more people. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I think in society today, I think in any business today. Your business, my business, whatever. When we forget the fact that we are serving the people that we're coming in contact to, that's when we're starting to settle. That's when you sit there and go, okay, it's just a job. And if it's just a job and you're not happy and you're not serving and you're not excited about what you do, it makes a difference. Fun fact I like to share, and I think I've shared before, and I have this and I remind myself of this. I think the other thing in this industry, it's easy to look at, oh my God, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. And some of the deals we're getting are tougher, but that's okay. The biggest thing that makes a difference is your values. For me, it's faith, family, and then my work. But not only that, it's your attitude. And attitude affects 100% of what you do. And I can actually statistically show you how attitude equals 100%. Are you interested to know how, Mr. Adlam?
No, go for it, buddy.
So every letter in the alphabet has a numeric value, correct?
Yeah, A1.
Z26.
Yeah.
So if you take the word attitude and you spell it out and you give each letter a numeric value, what do you think the word attitude adds up to?
You're going to tell me 100. You're going to tell me 100.
Correct, because A is 1, T is 20, T is 20, I is 9, T is 20, U is 21, D is 4, and E is 5. It's 100% of what we do.
Wow.
So that is the catalyst of what affects what you do. And I heard this story from a gentleman. I was flying to a sales conference just like 27 years ago when I was in the jewelry business. And the guy was dressed up in a 3-piece suit. He was sharp, and I'm sitting there and sitting next to me, started talking, and he's like, "Oh, so what do you do?" "Oh, so I'm in sales." He goes, "I wouldn't have guessed." I go, "Oh, why not?" He goes, "Well, you're not dressed for it." I go, "I don't have to be dressed for sales." I said, "If I'm in my own time, in my own element." He's like, "Well, I think that affects the posture of who you are, and it says who you are and what you do, because you always have to be dressed for success." I said, "Well, if your attitude is focused on success, regardless of what I'm wearing, it shouldn't matter, because my person and the genuineness of who I am is going to come to that client. And then I can introduce myself and what I do the same way." He said, "Okay, I look at that." And then we went back and forth for a while. He goes, "How much do you think attitude affects what you do?" I said, "Well, I believe it's 100%. And that's what he showed me on this airplane flight. You take the word attitude and add it up. So 26 years later, here I am, right? Sometimes I think, that's my own medicine. We have to remember that in our businesses we are going to fail. But what is failing? Failing is trying it again and getting up and doing it again, and it's posturing to improve. So, have I failed? Yes. Do I have files I get behind on I got to play catch up on? Sure I do. I mean, life happens for all of us. But in serving the clients and doing that, and making sure I put the attitude hat on, we go through. So it's kind of fun. But not a lot of secret sauce. It's a lot of hard work and determination and perseverance. Persevering for our families, for our clients, and then for me, even when the crash hit, and I don't want to ramble on too long, I'm sorry about this, but even when the crash hit, right, a lot of us are like, "Oh my gosh." And I was like, "It's just a mortgage. It's just a loan." But it's so much more, because you have myself, my loan officer assistant, my processor, an underwriter, a closer, a funder, the shipping person, the person who's shipping, the person who receives the loan from us, right? That's just on our side. Then you go to the title side, which then a title order. They send that order to an abstractor who goes to the county and pulls the abstract, who sends the information back to the title company to type the title, who sends it over to us. And then on title, you get the closing documents, you get the notary, the person who has to sign it and ship it. You look at how many people the housing industry in one transaction can touch. It's at least 50 to 75 people. I mean, that's a broad number because I don't know the total on the back end. 50 easily, when you think about it, on one transaction. So for me, again, it's serving the client and everyone. Think of a realtor, buyer's agent, seller's agent, that family selling, the family buying, and then everything on the inside. It's amazing when you look at it. So that to me is where it's so gratifying when you're serving your client and they have their place called home.
Right.
That first-time college student, that's a small home. Maybe it's a condo or a townhouse. Okay, no problem. We can start here. And maybe if the payment's low enough, you can keep that rented out and you can start creating wealth in real estate. And we go to the next house and put 3 or 5% down. Now you have a rental property in your second one, and you can build from there, right? But it's the housing industry and the mortgage industry, one of my clients in the jewelry business is who got me in the mortgage business when I transferred to Ohio. So I knew nothing about mortgages or real estate really prior to.
That's what I was going to ask you, because you talked about being in the jewelry business.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like sales is, I get it, sales is sales, but there's a big difference between like a watch and a house, right?
Correct.
And
you know what though? Yes and no, because the difference is that it's value. What value are you bringing? When you're buying a Rolex, you're buying an Omega, you're buying a Patek or whatever, it's not a watch anymore, it's a timepiece, right? Then you have to learn about it, right? So you start looking at things, right? But the crazy thing is, when someone walked into our jewelry store, we had 30 to 35 seconds to make that impression. Mm-hmm. And we were always trained at the beginning. Mitch Maggart, I'll throw his name out there if you not want me to publicly put it out there. He was our sales manager, taught a group of us back in 1991, back at Hellsberg Diamonds. And one of the things that he taught when we brought into the case, we had these little, on the front side of this little display, it said about the diamond case or whatever, but on the back side it said, "Make me feel important."
Make me feel important.
Make me feel important. Because when they come in, they have 8 other jewelry stores that they can go to. What is going to differentiate your store? And every client that left, when I managed my stores, even when I got into as a part-time salesperson, whatever, every client that left my store knew the cut, color, the clarity of the diamond they bought. They knew what they paid for it. Because you have guys who went, "Oh, I want to buy 1 carat for $3,000. Okay, here you go. Ugh. Here's the 5/8 of a carat stone. It's smaller, but look at the difference in the clarity. You seen a diamond under a gemscope? No. It's education, right? Same thing in the mortgage business. For me, it's educate, advocate, and serve. It was the same thing in the jewelry business. When I sold cars for a brief stint. I sold cars for 3 months. I sold 48 cars in 3 months, right? But when people came onto the lot, James, it wasn't like, oh, here we are. I'm like, you know what? I'm different. What is your need? Let's find that. And then after that, we're going to determine your payment. Biggest mistake people make going to the car lots. Oh, what kind of payment are you trying to afford? Never do that. Because as soon as you do that, if you say, $600-700 and you're buying a, $15,000 car, they're going to slam you on the interest rate and you're going to get charged a lot of fees, right? You don't need that. Same thing in the jewelry business. You had to educate them. One of my salespeople, when I first took over the store, I go, what happened? He goes, I don't know. He goes, what do you don't know? Well, I did the 8 steps of selling. I'm like, okay, but the 8 steps is a guide. You might go to 2 to 8 to 3 to 1 to 1 to 5 to 6 to stuff. I said, let me ask you a question. When did they meet? I don't know. What was his first name? I don't know. What was her first name? I don't know. When did you first kiss her? I don't know. When was her first date? I don't know. And you expect them to spend $4,000 with you on a bridal set?
Right.
Again, that business. The crazy thing about where the similarities and where they crossed over was relational. When I transferred from one store in the Kenwood Town Center, Ohio, and went to the Tri-County store, which is like 35-40 minutes away, and my clients found out, they came to my store.
They came with you, which is what's happened in mortgages.
Yeah.
In another part of the country, people have gone from Ohio to do business with you in Arizona. I'm very confident there's a ton of loan officers in Ohio if they wanted to keep it local. But man, one of the things about you that I've always appreciated is your faith life. You are a guy who it's just very, very obvious the covering that's over you and your family.
I appreciate that.
And it's not an accident why. It's just not an accident. Like success is not an accident. Failure is not an accident. When I don't, it's funny because I'm on social media, but I don't comment a lot on social media.
Right.
I just gives you a chance to peek in on people. And, everyone, whoever's seeing this, you should you should friend him on Facebook. You should see Eric, and you should see the things that he values. Because what social media does do is it shows you what you value, and it's a peek into somebody's thinking. And if I'm going to do business with someone, my brother-in-law is a loan officer, so that's kind of a given. You got to
careful on that one.
Yeah, like it. But if I'm going to do business with someone, I've got to feel phenomenal about who I'm doing business with. And so the reason I wanted, number one, I'm really praying for you and your family to have the best year ever coming up.
Appreciate that.
I believe more people just need to know you. I think more people need to do business with people that actually care about people.
Right.
And be treated like a human being. And I was saying to myself, like, what value could I give you? And as I'm sitting there, it's just really, I haven't been to your online page. I looked at it some time ago, but it needs to say something like, I'm Eric Rank, I love my family, I love my God, and I want to help you get a home. Like, if you had to just be that simple, I guarantee, I'm promising you've literally laid out the things that are actually legitimately who you are.
That's 100% true.
You're going to be a magnet for people who value their faith, their family, and they want a home. And they'd much rather do that with somebody who's walking the talk than somebody who's just talking the talk.
I appreciate that. I mean, and honestly, that's, I thought about this, how long we've known each other, because that was the house we had in Countryside.
Yeah, that's right.
And April and Annabelle came over, and that was the house there, and it's just, you're 06, 07. It's just kind of crazy to think about it, right? And I will say this about yourself as well. You're 100%. I'll tell everyone on the scene, what you see with Mr. Adam is 100% the follow of who he is. His family is everything. His faith is everything. The fact that he wants to take his own personal time to do something for others outside of the successful business that he has, it really makes a difference in regards to what this really meaning is, to take your own personal time. And I can't thank you enough for it, because you've been there multiple times. you comment on things. You were there when my son passed away to send, prayers and condolences for us, and we haven't seen each other in, God, James, has it been at least 20 years?
Yeah, something like that.
It's crazy.
We're still good looking though.
And I got a beard now, right? I decided to do the beard thing. I kind of like the beard thing. Funny. I want to share this too. So one of the deals I closed about 90 days ago, a guy called me up and he's like, someone told me you're the loan doctor. I'm like, okay, I'll come and give you a diagnosis. And he started cracking up. He goes, I'm not sure how much you're going to do for me because I'm a 578 credit score. I'm like, okay. And I won't mention the company names, but he went to 2 local banks in Ohio and went to another broker lender out there as well. I said, okay, so let me ask you this question. So you're a 578 score? Yeah, they told you that much, correct? I said, okay. Did anyone go over your credit report? No. I said, so nobody took the time to review your credit report with you so you can go over and understand why you're a 578 credit score? No. He had a medical collection for $600. He had a charged-off credit card for like $600 or $700. He had a credit card that was a newer one that was maxed out and had $900 and $1,000. Paid the medical collection off, jumped to a 640 score. After the 640 score, got him a consolidation loan with One Main for $2,000. Paid off that collection, paid off his credit card. In 3 weeks, what do you think his credit score was? Take a guess.
If you up to just under 7?
718. I closed him on a $350,000 house. I did all that in a matter of 9 weeks. Because, again, loan officers, and I say this to you as we're out there, the value of your customer is not determined on the credit score. Listen to their story. Be genuine. Be real. And understand as a commissioned individual, we are blessed by the people that are put in our lives. My faith aspect is God blesses us with everything. After my son passed away, a little over a year ago, my whole thing was, one of the things I always told him was confidence. I struggle with confidence. I do. It's the little things here. I said, but I keep hearing him telling me the same thing. Dad, you can do it. Do your own branch. Do your own P&L. And that's why I went and did it last February. Because I told him I would honor him and he would raise my grandson as well, right? With my wife and my family. But the other thing is to put people first and to listen to their story. Everybody has a story. When we forget that we are serving the individual, and we look at just the loan in our pocketbook, that's when you fail. You might be amazed that, doing what I do takes a little more work. It's a harder deal to get done. It's going to take more time. But in all sincerity, when I have a client that called me, it was 2 weekends ago on a Saturday, actually as a text, hey, is this Eric Rank's phone? It's from an 859 number from Kentucky. I said, yes, how can I serve you? What's up? And I said, I lost about 700 contacts on my phone, so just let me know who this is. It was a good friend of mine, Scott. I did Scott's last loan 12 years ago. We've been talking on Facebook, the last 15, 16 years. Now his kids are buying a loan. They were getting kind of taken advantage of by the lender. Answering the phone, picking up the phone, it's a $300,000 purchase. And I started doing Scott's loans in 2004. So 20 years later, we're still friends. We're still doing loans because I fixed his credit. He trusted me to know that I was going to serve him correctly. I always put what was best for the client first. What's best for his family and my family at the same time. And, his house is almost paid off, and now I'm serving his kids. So whatever business you're in, whether it's a walk-up business, whether it's a standalone business, you're a destination shop, yes, it gets frustrating. Yes, customers can sometimes, be upsetting. But they're still walking into your destination. You're still picking up the phone and calling you, and they're meeting your professionalism. And when we serve them and think of them as family, they will continue to trust you and build that relationship over the years as family with you, and they'll contact you again. So,
I hope everyone watching this who's looking to, is either looking into the industry and is looking to have great mentorship in the industry, or people that are just looking for integrity in their home buying process, or just that whole process of that first really major investment for the average person. I hope that the message was delivered, that there are people in the world like this, but I don't know where this video is going to land, but it's my prayer that it lands in front of the right eyes. I definitely hope for you and your family to have the best year ever, because again, your success is directly connected to helping people get into the world of real estate. And I'm just going to say this, everybody, you could see the name You can Google Mr. Eric Rankin. You can find him on Facebook. This is somebody to have in your cell phone. And if you're in business for yourself, if you're in sales on any level, anything that you do where you are dealing with someone, I hope that you do it with a level of integrity and service. He probably used that word serve like 40 times during this short window of time.
Sorry.
But I hope, no, don't say sorry. It's what it needs to be, because we have to change the landscape of how people see what it's like to be successful. People think success, because we're constantly being bombarded with, like, you got to eat people alive, like, people are chum and all this other stuff, and they don't realize that, like, you could do extremely well in your life by just having a heart full of grace and desire to serve and empower other people, and it can be a win-win. It doesn't have to be I win, you lose. We can
Right.
both win,
Right.
and that will create so much more later. So, buddy, I know this was last minute, but I appreciate you taking the time to hop on, and I hope folks reach out to you, and I appreciate what you do in the world. Thank you, man,
Thank you for having me, James. I greatly appreciate it. All my best to you and the family.
Thank you so much, brother. God bless.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you. See, the definition of sight is the faculty or power of seeing.